Hello everybody, welcome to the Scrutineer. I'm back here live for you on YouTube here. If you haven't caught us yet, make sure you watch back. There's so much going on, so much that's happened before. We're talking here about the WTF1 GPVWC Superleague. That's their primary series. If you haven't managed to catch this before, that's because all the cars are different. So that's why we go through this show really. All the cars are different. It's the most realistic team experience you can find in sim racing today. I don't care what platform you're on, it's the most realistic thing you can find, as close to Formula 1 as you can get, and there's some of the best races around as well in this series. You can argue it all you like, but this is actually the best place to be. There's so much going on, so many changes that happen to all the cars and the engines and so many differentials that actually no car is the same. The only car is the same as your teammate, and even then you can have different tyre strategies and even your engines might be slightly different as well. So an awful lot can change there as well. I'm wearing this, by the way, everybody, just to annoy certain people. You know who you are, but nonetheless. In fact, some teams in the Super League aren't doing as well as this team did last year, so goodness knows what's going on. I've seen we've already got a few people joining us, so hello to Cameron already. Yeah, already sticking the knife in there. That's very nice. Hello to the Epic guys as well. Peter, thank you for the cameras on the Academy the other day. If you didn't catch that as well, that's over on the ACR channel, but Sim News there. Peter working there for us, doing the cameras along with our new this way of showing off new talents to the broadcasting arena. You can get involved in that as well. We've got one happening in a few weeks' time. Head over to gpvwc.com and you'll find all the things there, or on the ACR Facebook. I'm sure you'll find it there as well. In the meantime, though, we're talking GPVWC and Super League. I know we've got Formula Challenge and Super Cup coming up tomorrow and Wednesday night, brought to you by SimNews.TV, so you can catch up with those, the stars of the future that will be heading their way in Super League. We've already seen some guys making the step up this year already, and it's only round 6. Yes, it is round 6. I've said round 5 before, which round 6 definitely is. We all make mistakes, not the worst it's been. So yeah, Valiant the new Honda, maybe so, maybe so. It's one more races though, isn't it? Yeah, so awful lot happening going on. So what we're going to go through, we're going to go through all the car upgrades, because we're back on the week where there's an awful lot of car upgrades going in, because it takes every other. We've then also got engine upgrades going on, we've got pit stop times, we've got engine choices, we've got a few highs and lows as well, and I'll even give you a proper lowdown actually on who I think is going to do well this time out and who is going to fail. And I'm going to stick my neck on the line a little bit, because I know you guys ask for that most weeks and I don't really stick my neck out there, so I'm going to have to ignore my guys. But that'll be right at the end, so we'll come to that. In the meantime, where shall we start? Well, we can only really start with the cars, let's be honest, that's what we're all looking for. And we're going with championship order again, so you've got a bit of an idea of actually the cars that, they're at the top, but are they at the top because of the cars or the drivers? We're not quite sure all the time. Most teams will tell you it's because of the cars, most drivers will tell you it's because of the drivers. There is an element of both. You can't, you can have the best car going, but if your drivers aren't up there, you're never going to get up there either. Works the other way around as well though. You can have the best drivers in the world, but if your car's not gone in the right direction, you're going to be at real disadvantage going forwards. So we should go through with ACR leading the title hunt at the moment, and they have brought developments to this one. So they have stuck with their guns. I'm saying they, it's me, but hey, we have stayed with diffuser and weight as well. Stuck with it so far all season, and stuck by our laurels. We think it's working. We're leading the championship, so why change something that's not working? I suppose that is working. Why change it? It's pretty simple, really. Hello to everybody out there. Hello Epic, Mike Bell. Hello guys. We're now moving on to Edge, who did catch up on ACR last time out. If you remember, if you haven't watched my previous show, go back and watch last time's, because Edge did put a bit of upgrades on that one. They have brought an upgrade to this time. So remember, Edge are the ones that are a bit different here. They're doing one development each round, whereas most teams are doing 2 and then nothing, and then 2 and then nothing. So this time around they have brought front wing downforce. So they've merged that up to 61. They've added 26 onto that. So they've gone back to doing that, whereas they did change last time out. So that's you will see that some teams, they've got 2 choices really. You either stick and go, this is, I think this is going to make the fastest car, I'm sticking with it, or you choose certain elements for certain tracks as well. So you might want the front wing for certain tracks, you might want to weight for somewhere else. So it does make sense. They're obviously doing something right there in second. Epic still hanging around in third. Very good for the new team. They have brought upgrades as well this time out. So they've done the weight that they've done before, so they carried on with that, but they have now moved and done a front wing downforce upgrade. It's quite a small upgrade at 11. Now, there's 2 elements to that, because I don't know all the stats exactly behind the guys, but actually, the wing downforce is one of the most expensive and slower routes to develop anyway. So in the same amount of time, where you could get, we're seeing people doing 21 to 26 on certain areas, actually you might only get about 15, 16, even the top teams with the top developers. So actually 11 might be what they can get done in that time. If their chief designer and the design team isn't quite as good, they might not get as much development in the same space of time. If you don't understand all that, go back to episode 1. We've discussed all the bidding and all pre-season and all that. An awful lot happens before the cars even hit track. All you new guys watching GPVWC, this is all the sort of stuff that happens going into the cars. Evolution sitting in 4th now, doing rather well as well. They've sort of followed what ACR are doing there, not with the rear wing but with the weight and diffuser this time out, and it's working for them as well. Very good results last time out for Evolution. Again, another new team up there. That's showing how it's done really. Epic and Evolution here. It's it's beating some of these really experienced guys. We're coming on to them, but some teams here have been here in double-figure years and still struggling. Yeah. Epic not doing the same upgrades as ACR, certainly split the upgrades as the sister team. Epic not the sister team with ACR, no. But it's our sister teams. Simple as. Hawkeye. Next up, so like I said, experienced guys, but actually for them this is kind of a bounce back season. They're doing quite well really. So they've done weight and diffuser as well. So a little common theme potentially kicking in here with a few teams doing this now. They had done front wing previously. They've now started doing the weight. They hadn't done that before. They have now done that, and they carried on doing diffuser that they had done previously as well. But you see there's only 17 on weight. They've got 21 diffuser. That says to me in the same space of time that the weight element of the designer isn't as good as there can only be a difference between 10 or 20% tops between the worst designer on that area and the best designer on that area. So it's not a huge difference, but it does make a bit of a difference adding up over the whole season. Nordson, talking experienced guys down here as well, we've got Nordson down here. Yeah, they've gone with front wing downforce and rear wing downforce, which is what they did at the very start. Last time out they did weight and diffuser, and they've gone back to what they were doing before. That springs to me more about the tracks that they're sort of looking at and what they want them to do in that way. It kind of makes sense, it's kind of what Edge are doing, but this time they're doing it in 2 at a time rather than 1 each time. So hopefully it'll be a change of heart for them, maybe, because they're not used to finding themselves so far down the standings, particularly at this stage. Yeah. Storm, yeah, got overtaken by Nordson last time out, but still doing rather well for, kind of pre-season. I didn't expect Storm to this high up. They are doing rather well. So they put weight and diffuser upgrades on the car, which again is very similar to what a lot of guys are doing at this time out. So this is the first time they've done weight. Diffuser they carried on doing, though. Previously they have done body drag and they've done front wing downforce. I will get some of your comments, I can see it all scrolling away there. Flag to flag, they moved up a place this time ahead of Eval after their good show in Monaco. So they've done weight and diffuser as well. Very similar to the top, similar to the ACR sort of epic route, that sort of a similar theme there. You'll notice that they did get 25% on the weight there, but the actual figures aren't quite as high. If you remember, you might want to watch back to our about episode 2, I want to say, somewhere around 2 or 3, where the upgrades really started hitting on the cars, and flag to flag didn't do one. They only did one upgrade, and then the small one or something. It was, can't exactly remember what they did, but they basically it looks like they messed up because they're now down to doing 2 each time, the same as everyone else. So if they were doing an alternate strategy, that's gone out the window and they've decided to change that around, but they've stuck to the 2 areas, so I like that. Headstrong, they're doing what they're doing, fair enough, but it does look like they're a bit behind, potentially due to an error or a misunderstanding. Someone on those lines would be my guess, but ultimately it's not going to cost them in money or R&D points. They would still have that kicking around, and it might help them later down the line. Nice to see 24 people. Hello everybody. Hello Bruno, David Carter, hello everybody, thank you. Alex Skinner, nice to see you all. Eval dropped a place, and if you remember last time they had the best car, because they're the one team really that is doing the alternative strategy to everyone else. They're bringing their 2 upgrades to the next round, whereas everyone else won't be able to. So they've got the exact car they had ran at Monaco, which is an interesting way to look at it, in that you built a car from Monaco probably and not really going to do that great Canada in that respect, but it was still pretty good anyway at the time. So they've done front wing, weight and rear wing over the course of the season so far. Red Archer next up. They brought upgrades here, so they brought front wing downforce, so it's only 17% for them as well, but they did bring 26% of weight, so they've got they're very strong on weight with 62% there, which obviously means when I say weight, it's less weight. Basically, you don't want to be adding weight to your car. Yeah. It's alright, Cameron, you can disagree all you like, but stats don't lie. Adonis next up. Weight and diffuser upgrades this time around for them. They have sort of done a bit of everything, which I've spoken about in the past. Looks like kind of guesswork, like we'll try this, it doesn't work, alright, we'll try that, that doesn't work, what are we doing? We're stuck down here at the back of the grid. And they pick new areas again. They've done diffuser for the second time. It's the first time they've done anything twice, so they might be thinking, right, we like diffuser, brilliant work, let's see what they do next time. They're going to go body drag, they're going to go rear wing downforce, they're going to go front wing downforce, or they're going to go weight again. I don't know with Adonis, I'm not sure, quite sure who's calling the shots, because Menno is running this team and driving in Storm. I kind of expected them to have similar, similar designed cars in a way. You'd think that Storm would be drawing on Menno's experience, in that Adonis have been quite hard with grid before. Doesn't look like they are, one way or the other, or I don't know, maybe someone else is running Adonis at this stage, but yeah, hopefully they deserve to be higher up than they are. Missouri jumped a place, so they've moved on up now, coming off the back somewhere. So they've done weight and diffuser downforce upgrades this time around. They've done front wing downforce previously. So yeah, they've got an 18 and 26. Not quite as big developments as some others, but again, I'd assume that's down to the staff more than anything. These teams down the back end were not at the start of the season paying out for the top guys. It doesn't make such a huge difference, and it's not probably worth the money to these guys. But it can make, when you're talking between 18 and 21, but over the course of the season that's going to add up to an upgrade. Street Fighter find themselves another place back now, so the second last on the standings. They have done Front-Wing Downforce again, so they've done a strong one there and taken that to 56%. See, they've got 23% on there, so they might potentially have a good designer. If I remember rightly, they might actually have one. And then Body Drag they've done this time as well, so that's new to them. Interestingly, only team not to have done weight. The only team on the grid not to have done weight at all. Read into that what you will. There's only a handful that haven't done diffuser now as well, but they're not the only ones, but they are the only ones not to have done any weight upgrade at all on this car. Mad Cape found themselves at the back, but we have upgrades, and 2 of them. That makes a change. So we've got weight at 40, which they've added 15 to that, and diffuser they've now started doing at 11. Previously they'd done front-wing downforce and front-wing downforce and front-wing drag. We haven't mentioned drag at all before, and we'll only ever mention it around Mad Cape because they're the only ones that ever do it. They obviously know something I don't. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Mad Cape, they're down there, but actually they could be. I was harsh on them last time for certain reasons. I can't be harsh for this. What they've done today makes sense to me. That's legitimately fine. Even if they didn't know what they were doing quite yet, looking at the rest of the grid, they could probably learn that these areas are ones to do. It makes sense. Good on them. They got to the end last time out. You know, actually, if you said to them at the start of the season, we'd be right on the tail of Red Bull, I bet they'd have taken it. But that just shows how far behind Red Bull is, really. These are big teams down the back end. It just shows really how strong this grid is. That actually, you've got teams that are, you know, you've got a Red Bull team second from last. You've got Mad Cape who are big on other areas in other series and stuff. That just they're not cutting it at the moment. No matter. So that's cars. I know quite a lot of you were talking there. Street Fighter working on landing gear. That's pretty harsh there, Mike. But yeah. And Alex, I know now getting involved at Mad Cape as well. So you know, I know you're there now. So yeah, I'll blame you for the future, shall I? Engines. So we've got 4 engine manufacturers. If you remember that. If you don't, again, you can watch it all on the channel here. You can go back and look at our all the previous episodes. We've got the 4 manufacturers with the manufacturer teams as well. So I'm going to throw out this graphic. I think I have to dodge over here somewhere to avoid this one, yeah. So you can do power, fuel efficiency, mapping, reliability and resistance. Nobody in their right mind has chosen to do mapping, reliability and resistance. We will find as well with engines that they slow down development and run out of engine R&D points to develop much quicker than we're going to do on the cars. The cars we'll see developing all the way through to the end of the season. These, last year, we didn't really see them past the summer break bringing much, little ones at the very end, but mostly the engines were done by the summer break straight after. I think it's Germany this time around. I think that might be our last time we see anything reasonable on the engine front. So this time around we've got all 4 engine manufacturers brought something here. There's nobody on a different sync as it were development wise, but what they're developing is different now. So Martex and Quasar sort of stuck with what they were doing before. They've gone back to power. They did fuel efficiency to start with, and then they've gone on power, so they've added 18 each there. So now they've got exactly the same engine in the Martex and the Quasar. Awful lot of teams run the Martex, only Edge run the Quasar, or manufacture the Quasar. The Talos team were running the exact same, so they had 23 and 20 power and fuel efficiency last time around, the same as Martex and Quasar, but they decided not to do power. They decided to go more fuel efficiency, so they've now got the most fuel efficient engine on the grid at 39%. Does allow them to run boost, like higher boosts for longer basically, or you can run less fuel in the car to get to the end, so that's less weight in itself, so there's that element to it as well. So it's that balancing act, so that could be legitimately fine, but you haven't got that outright power now that all the others have as well, so they're going to have a power disadvantage to everybody in brake horsepower terms. We've got Valiant. They've now gone, whereas we've seen them just do power, so everyone else did a fuel efficiency to start with, Valiant didn't, they did power. Now they have done fuel efficiency, so they've caught up, so they're actually slightly more fuel efficient than all the Martex and the Quasar guys, but not the Talos. But they have got more power than Talos, but now slightly less power than Martex and Quasar. So it's kind of evening out a little bit. It's going to be interesting to actually see where all these teams go next, because everyone's sort of evened out a little bit. Everyone's done the fuel efficiency upgrade, which lets them run boost 4 for a bit of time now. Everyone's started doing the power upgrades because they want the brake horsepower. Are we going to keep going with that, or are we going to have to do people are going to have to. I'm expecting Talos to have to do a power upgrade next time out because they've got a good fuel efficiency now. But are the others going to have to do the fuel efficiency to catch up with Talos, and that'll balance that out, or they're just going to go outright power? It does slow down the further you develop as well in a certain area. You get less for your buck, as it were. So as you would in real life. Not liking the sad music. I'll play it for you if you want. It's just let's just keep everyone a bit entertained so you don't listen to my voice all the time. But that's if you've got 100% engines. Now, last time out we didn't see a lot of 100% engines, which normally suggests we see an awful lot this time out, and it makes sense because that was Monaco. This is Canada. You've got big long straights. You're going to want fresh engines basically. Now, we are limited to 6 fresh engines per car across the season, so you are going to have to use them 3 times about. You can buy 2 more engines, but it's going to cost you $1 million and a back of the grid, so it's quite but you can't do that until you've used all 6 at least once anyway. So quite a lot of guys are using new engines. That might be a strategy as well, that some teams will choose to use fresh engines a lot sooner, so they can buy those 2 engines sooner than everyone else. It's a legitimate strategy as well, so we might have to watch out for that with some teams that are playing the long game. So ACR, Risto's got his 100% unit. Alex Siebel hasn't got his 100% unit, but he has got a 92% engine. It's as close as you're going to get, basically, to a fresh engine, unless you're Street Fighter or something. But because that's the same unit, Unit 1 you'll notice there, which was the one that effectively, whether it's his bad luck engine, in that it saw his first 2 retirements in race 1 and 2, where I don't think he did more than about 10 laps over 2 races, which is why it's barely been used. So just might be the luck element of that one. We'll keep going down the standings again. So we go to Edge. They have bought 2 fresh units. Absolutely fair enough. There was a little question mark because actually Burlak used a very worn engine last time, but I think Jarl used about a 70% engine, so he could have used that again. But he's obviously saving that one. Go on fresh engines for here. Makes absolutely perfect sense. Epic, done the exact same as well. It does make sense as well when these guys are using fresh engines when we've had all the upgrades on the engines as well, so you're getting more bang for your 100% engine effectively. If you use a 100% engine when your engine's not been developed as much, you're not getting as much gain. You get more gain later in the year, don't you? Think of it like that. Your worn engines later in the year are better than using the worn engine now because it's already been developed. Does that make sense to everyone? Maybe, not sure if that does. So like your brake horsepower, if you're improving the power on it, to make it simple, and you add an extra 20 brake horsepower to your engine, but your worn engine means that you're going to lose 10 brake horsepower from whatever the top is, then later down the line you still gain 10 than you were going to have earlier on, so it makes it interesting. Evolution, they've got a used engine in Dennis Jordan's car, so that's the lowest we've seen so far. Tom Parker's got a fresh one though. I mean, it's 70% or 69%, so it's effectively done around on it. So it's not quite at its worst. Hawkeye, they've got 2 fresh units. Adam Maguire and Costa using them in there. Nordstrom, they've got 2 fresh units as well with Friedek and Cooper. Storm, Liam's got a fresh engine, but Menno has got a 67% engine, so that's the lowest so far as well. Flag to Flag, both got 100% engines there. Anyone that's using Unit 3 makes perfect sense at this point. We've got Kilt on a 58% engine for Eval, which is, it's kind of like it's done a race and a half because he didn't complete Monaco. And then, well, yeah, Monaco or, what was it? Was it, well, I can't remember where it was, Baku maybe, I think it was, that he might have only done half a race as well. And then Argo's got a fresh engine, Unit 4 though, interestingly there. Red Archer, got 2 fresh engines again using Unit 4s. Adonis, got 2 fresh engines that ignore their units slightly. They used Unit 5 at round 1 and things like that just to throw me, so Units 2 and 3 to them respectively. Zurich also got fresh units, Unit 3, makes sense completely. SOS, also Red Bull SOS, 100% units, Unit 3s as well. And then Madgate don't have fresh engines because they used them last time out, but they are still in Unit 3, so fair enough. You know, 73% and 88. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, actually, if you're going to use a fresh engine, I did slate them last time for using it, and it was a waste at Monaco. But actually, because it's Monaco, you don't use the engine quite as much kilometre-wise, so actually didn't drop below the 70 mark there, so it's not so bad. Olsen didn't get to the finish, I don't No, he didn't. Or a laps at least down. I'm pretty sure he didn't get to the finish. So that's 88% of that car's engine there as well. What we did notice last time out, a few bits from Monaco. You will have, if you watched the race, you'll notice that we had a lot of engines blow. I say a lot, a few. Particularly, where did we have? Liam and Ricardo at least blew a member. Ben Holes did as well, but I think that was damage related more than anything else. It normally is. That sort of element. So, but there's a few guys there that did blow that, and Whoopkey, I think it was as well. His engine was nearly going right at the end of the race. So yeah. So alright. So yeah, they've tried to use these engines, and it's not necessarily all just a percentage on this as well. It's how you drive it. So those engines that people used will have been able to get to the end. It's just what settings they used, basically. So other cars will have used this. When we're talking the percentages here, it doesn't mean your engine dies straight away. Cameron, if your engine dies in game, it gets removed from your allocation, right? Yeah, it's blown, it's gone. So it's a waste if that's the case. I mean, you'd expect it on your third round anyway. You'll also notice if it drops below, I want to say below 20%, it's not available for you to pick either. Now, basically. But yes, we could see we're now in round 6, so potentially we could now have next round somebody buying a new engine. We can't because nobody has done fresh engines all the way through, but it won't be that long before we might see somebody buy an engine potentially. I think it's under 20, I'm sure, but it might be 15, you can't use it. But that's understandable because you wouldn't want to put an engine in you know isn't going to finish the race for you. Once you get to those sort of figures, the way the calculator sort of works, it doesn't really work for it very well, that you end up on some negative figures, and to be fair, I don't know how you get to the grid. Yeah, if you run 100% engine, you ran the radiator too low and it blows, yeah, in theory it's gone, unfortunately. Yeah, bit of a shame. In that respect, actually, if you know you're going to blow your engine on your 100% engine, pull over before it blows on you and actually goes down as an engine failure. What you will find though, actually, quite a lot of guys in Monaco, when their engines blow, didn't actually go down as an engine failure. Because they had damage previously, a lot of them went down as suspension failure on game, which meant actually I think they probably got away with that and have been able to keep that engine, and they will just have lost the kilometre laps on it. I think. Some team may have to confirm that to me. I should have gone to like Hawkeye Storm to check that. But yeah, there's a few of them if they had damage on the car already, the way Rfactor works, sometimes it gives you that and tells you that's the reason you've retired. Yeah, right. If that's worse than the actual the engine would have been, but we knew it was an engine blow. But interestingly, Storm has 2 engines for sale, 14 and 12%. No, thank you. Based on Monaco, I wouldn't have taken them at 100, but that's because they haven't bought Valiant. Anyway, a bit biased there, but there we go. Right, tyres we'll move on to, shall we? Because this is a big factor we've seen already all year. They can pick between 5 compounds, you have to bring 3, and you have to use at least 2. Fair enough. So everyone sort of picks a bit different, so we'll go through the 2 graphics that we normally come with. So we've got quite a lot of teams going back to the ultra soft, super soft, softs this time around. A few people picking mediums, nobody's picked the hards this time out. We did see the hards being used last time. I say this for tyre allocations, but if you watched my show last time, it was all rubbish by the end, because 2 days later it all changed. So provisionally, this is the tyre choices, and normally is, but all the rules out the window in that respect at the moment. So this is the tyre choices as of this moment, I'll say. So you're looking at that, you go with ACR, Edge, Epic, and Evolution, and Norwegian have all picked the same. They're the 3 softest. The difference being that everyone's got the ultra soft this time out, but here we have Hawkeye and Storm, who don't have that soft tyre, but they have the medium tyre. We have found quite a lot of teams being able to sort of interchange the 2 of them. There's probably not huge, we're finding there's not massive differences. Depends very much on how you drive it between the ultra soft and the super softs, and or the softs and the mediums that are around. So they can be almost not interchangeable, but it's just personal preference a little bit. On some tracks it's turning out to be. Then we go into the second half of the grid, and you're talking a little bit different here. Still got Red Archer and Missouric, who have gone with the 3 softest, but you've then got some guys that went mediums without the softs, which was Flag to Flag, Adonis, and Madcape. And then you've got some that don't have the super soft, so you've got Eval and Red Bull Street Fighter here. Yeah, we've got Eval and Street Fighter there, who don't have the super soft, but they have the softs and the mediums as well, so that suggests to me they've got a qualifying tyre of the ultras, and then they've got race tyres basically there. Alex, salty for losing that race. 0.2 of a second on the line. When Madcape get within 0.2 laps, we'll have a talk. In the meantime, we've got, this is a bit of summary for you, so it just shows you there that the guys at the top have all got the 3 softest. Then you've got the ultras, the super softs and the mediums for the guys in the middle, and the 2 oddballs for the sake of this, but might be proved right, going probably longer on their tyres are going to be the Eval and Red Bull. So that's tyres. So should we quickly, let's show you the total developments. If I lose, let's look at this, we can do this, we can be clever. Let's lose stuff and add bits. Right, total development. So just to sort of summarise where we're at with everything. So we've got ACR leading the top with total development points. Again, as we went through earlier in the show, it depends where you put those points that matters. But you've got ACR, you've got Red Archer. You think Red Archer's got the second best car on points alone, but quite far down the standings. Again, this is where I kind of go, look at your drivers, Red Archer. What are we doing here? What are those guys doing? You're building a car that's similar to ACR, but in ultimate points. So you've got some great designers, and you're doing some great development there. Are you choosing the right areas? Are your drivers utilising it? Zurich as well, right down the back there, but they've got 110 this time out. Good work for them. Storm, I mean, all these in the middle here. You go Storm, Hawkeye, Epic, Evolution, Nordschen, Red Bull, are all so close within 3 points, 4 points there, which is incredible. When you look then at Edge, who are out of sync, so they've got an upgrade coming next time that others don't. They're out, not far behind, are they? They're those guys. You think actually they're 4 points off? Well, that's effectively, they're pretty close all the way up to like Storm, somewhere like that. It's only really those top 3 that are probably going to have a bit of an advantage potentially. So Edge are playing quite a blinder there, because they should jump right near the top again next time out. Adonis and Flag to Flag equally could do the same thing, but they've got 2 upgrades here, so unfortunately they are just a little bit behind. Eval off sync, so we'll have both upgrades next time out, so should leap themselves to the top of the table. So expect Eval every other time to be top and the bottom, top and the bottom. And Madcape are doing Madcape, as we've spoken about before. We brought it up last time, so I'm going to keep bringing up the pit stop times now, just to see if people are developing a little bit as well. You can develop your pit crew at the same time as 2 other areas as well. So you can develop. So if you're not doing that, teams, make sure you're doing it. You can develop card twice and a pit crew area at the same time. Everyone's doing tyre chains because repairs isn't quite as useful. It was useful last round, I'll grant you, but other than that, not massively useful. So on here you go, look, Red Archer have got the second best car out there, and they've got the best pit stop time. Doing something right, aren't they, development wise here? Storm equally very good times. I mean, we're talking points of a second here, but they add up. But actually, if you were talking a Red Archer and an Eval swapping around, if you can gain 1.3 seconds in a pit stop, there is a little element of, it doesn't mean every time you do a pit stop it's going to be this time. There is an element as well of like how you park it in the slot, and there's an element of randomness that Rfactor puts in as well. Okay, all kicking off in the comments, nice to see. But yeah, if you're gaining 1.3 seconds each pit stop, and you're doing potentially 3 or 4 pit stops, it's quite a gap potentially. If you're really fighting away with somebody and you know that you can go in at the exact same time right behind them and actually leapfrog them in the pits and just come out straight ahead, that's madness. You really, if you're the team that's slower, you really need to look at your strategy and how you're working out your strategies there. It's quite difficult. So they're the bits we normally go through. So you normally go through and go, right, this is your best teams, what are we looking for? So we've got to the stage now, we're on round 6, where I really should have an opinion of what's going on. Right, I'm going to discount my guys, because I'd just be sitting here biasly telling you that ACR are going to win every round. We're not. I'd love us to, and we'd do a bloody good effort, but we won't get there. Of course we won't, we can't. We know we can get beaten. It happens. There are some fantastic drivers and teams on this grid. It's going to happen all the time. I love the fact it's so close. But that being said, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip to who to look for, maybe who I think's done a good job ready for this Grand Prix, basically, right? So in my eyes, the team you want to look out for. Now I know what we've just spoken about, and there's a few other people you might go, oh, actually we could look at this. We could look at Red Archer. They've got an option, but there's a few question marks with Red Archer as well. They've got a good team. They're good. Looks a good team on paper from the development point of view and the management point of view. Is the drivers up to it? So far they haven't shown it near this year yet. But I think the one you've got to watch this time round is Zurich. They've done some good upgrades. It looks like the drivers are kicking in as well. They got 2 points finishes last time out. They've been very unlucky when you looked at other circuits. They got hit off, certain things like that. I've seen how good the drivers are in the lower series. You know, they were up there battling with Alex Siebel. Well, Siebel's off winning races, so why aren't Zurich? The team is sort of near enough there. Interestingly, they've got the Talos engine, so they've got this fuel upgrade side of stuff, which could use a boost a lot. So they could be very, very interesting during the race, particularly on this this circuit here. They're my ones. Have a watch of them. I'd be shocked if they'd had to have some bad luck, I think, or some poor strategy because they've even done a reasonable tyre choice to get yourself and not getting a double point score again. Let's say double top 10 for Zurich. That's my guess there. Now, the one no one's going to want to be on. So I'm going to do this each time. So the team that I think is going to rise to the top is Zurich. Now, some teams that I think will struggle. Now, most people are going to start yelling in the comments in a minute at me, but it doesn't matter. So look, teams that I think are going to struggle this time out, and I love you to prove me wrong. Please do. I could be completely wrong with our strategy and what we're doing. So far, results haven't shown it, and my past history of a few years now being at the top show that we know kind of what we're doing. So I think the first team that you need to have a watch of. I'm sure some other teams might surprise you. Like I said, there is some other guys out there that really don't deserve to be down where they are in the standings and things, but they're the ones that I think have done the best chance and the best job of it. Others will improve as well, I'm sure. This one's a question mark for me this time out, and I'm sorry to everybody at Storm. You've been doing a great job so far this year, really. But a few bits to this. Actually, you start looking and well, yes, all the points so far have come from one driver. That driver has an awful lot of grid penalties. The other driver hasn't scored a point yet, so that's a bit of a struggle, isn't it, in itself? And you start looking and going, well, they blew an engine last time out as well. Yeah, they got pole position. Fantastic, well done, get pole position every time. But finish the race. In the same respect, Madcape finished the race. Madcape had more chance of scoring points than Liam did in that Storm car. That Storm car was never going to finish. Simple as. Mark in the Madcape got to the end, a few laps down, but to be fair, that car's not good either. So it was one place outside the points. Respect to him, good work. Reminds me a bit of Green Stripes last year. They plodded on. Absolute respect. They had 2 cars to the grid every time. Great work. Storm, on the other hand, though, one car's doing very well, but likely to struggle in that it'll be right down the back of the grid, and that'll be my guess there. Prove me wrong. I'd love to see you up there again. Liam has scored brilliantly and done brilliantly and showed he can be a brilliant driver. Menno can be a great driver as well. Just show me. The other one, Street Fighter. They're now second from bottom. Now, if it was just Street Fighter, and it was a Street Fighter of last year, I'd probably go, well, they were kind of a new team the year before, they still find their feet a little bit, fair enough. But they got Red Bull backing. You got a double race winner from last year, Florian Gaia, on your books. You're doing shocking. You're the only team not to have chosen weight. You're choosing alternative strategies to everyone else. Why are you doing that? Like, you're going all or nothing and coming back with nothing. Just go with what, you're now at the stage of round 6. Title's gone. Get respectable, make sure you don't get relegated. Pick the stuff that everyone else is doing, pick the safe strategy, get double point finishes. You've had more retirements, you've had 2 double retirements, not even Madcape have done that. Absolutely shocking appearance so far by Red Bull Street Fighter. I'm sorry to say, I hope it inspires you to really come out and show me what on earth you can do, because both drivers are much better than that. But yeah, so far, really not playing the game and in risk of getting relegated. At the moment, you're lower down the Madcape in the relegation standings because it's averaged over the three seasons, in this case 2 seasons for this team. Like, that's not great. You can't be in that position because new teams are exempt from normally, unless they've not turned up and things like that. So yeah, the expectation is there because of the Red Bull side of stuff. To be honest, the expectation wasn't there from me for Storm at the start of the season. It is now because they've done really well at the start of this season. So great work to them. But I think Zurich, you think at the moment Zurich have just overtaken Street Fighter last time out due to their 2 points finishes. Yeah, I think that they'll keep moving forwards a little bit, if I'm honest there. If you disagree, by all means add it in the comments. If you agree with me, add it in the comments. I want to hear from you. You guys are the guys who who at the moment, you're the guys watching, you're the guys who are interested in this series, these are the guys that I think you need to be watching around and what's going to happen to them this time out. There's loads of other teams that are going to have interesting things going on. Like I said, you want to watch Red Archer, you do want to watch what's going on with Adonis. They've been the next ones on this sort of list that I need to have a look at next time out. You need to look at the others, teams. There's all the new teams. I mean, I haven't even mentioned that Flag to Flag did a very good, interesting change of strategy and actually made it pay off. Hey, I called you out last time. You did well. You made it work for you. The hard tyres, the car's not great, but at Monaco it doesn't matter quite as much. You made it work. So good work to you. Let's get back to a normal track and see how you do this time out. The other guys, Epic, Evolution, great work for new teams, fantastic. Let's see Nordstrom come back. They're sort of sitting mid-table. Fight did a very good round at Monaco, but let's see more of that. Cooper, where's the Cooper of 3 years ago? Let's bring him back, please. So let's get these guys battling away, and actually let's clear them off for you. Yeah, let's see what everyone can do. Remember, the race is this Thursday. It's only Thursday. You haven't got long to wait now, or you haven't got long to prep. In that case, if you haven't been testing, get on your rig right now. Particularly if you're in one of those two teams at the back there. Macca score points. You should be scoring points. It's to 15 places. For goodness sake, points should be the minimum effort. Quite happily, when you start doing the right things, then I'll start apologising, but let's see where we get to. I'm a fan of underdogs. I mean, look, come on. So Thursday is the race. GPVWC's YouTube channel, also on WTF1 Facebook. So that's exciting to see over there as well. We've got the Formula Challenge and the Super Cup heading your way the next 2 days. You can sign up to the ACR iSimRS Academy as well with Sim News, where if you're interested in being a broadcaster, you can get involved with us. But equally, if you want to start off your racing career, that's the place to start. And for SimNews.TV, we've also got the Superleague show coming back to you. I know, popular demand, everyone's been asking where on earth that is. Well, the guys have managed to get into a room together and discuss everything that's been going on since round 2 all the way through to now. So I'm excited to see if their opinions match up with my opinions. Probably not, normally don't. Whenever I've sat in on that panel, I've been very much a biased corner. But hey, let's see what happens. So I can't wait to see what happens. I'll be watching, I'll be on the pit wall to be fair, but I'll be watching the broadcast back as well. I hope that we may have inspired a bit of interest, and there's so much more going on. If you want to throw us any questions for next time, you're more than welcome. Head our way, throw it in the GPVWC Discord or on SimNews YouTube or Facebook or anything along those lines. You can get in touch. We can always cover it and let you know if there's any sort of questions behind the whole workings of GPVWC. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Thank you everybody for joining in. It's been great to have all 25 of you. Very nice. And I shall see you on the after Thursday. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much.